I agree. And I think the same thing about like Bo Bichette, for example. Like, could Bo Bichette really become a Yankee?
Oh my word, I would be so devastated.
But th it happens. Business is
It does.
business.
Welcome back to the Platoon Baseball Podcast. I'm joined by the lovely Jesse Paul, and I'm Chris Safi. And this podcast is brought to you by absolutely no one. So if you want to sponsor us, please do, because I want this to be my permanent job. So, what's up, Jess?
Not much. A few moves to go over. Still waiting
Oh
on
yeah.
the big bombs to land,
Who
but
who are your three biggest bombs?
well, it's Kyle Tucker is obvious. It's the Schwar bomb, no pun intended.
It's okay if you go personal bias here.
Bo Bichette.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, those are the three for sure. I
That's
mean,
fair.
let me look at my list that we did earlier.
I think personally for me, I swap out Bo with Fromber.
Yeah,
Just
I was gonna say Fromber and then I don't know, like Bellinger and Alonso are like close fourth and fifth, I guess.
sure. Yep. And then even there's a lot of good names out there for a team
Yeah,
to go grab. So
yeah, I would say like 10 very notable names that are still available. So we're waiting on those still. And we're gonna get to it later, but hopefully this weekend is a little catalyst for some moves going forward.
yep. Yeah, we will get into that as the show progresses. But yeah, let's who do you got first on your list for either signings or trades,
I
Jess?
yeah, so I've got signings, I've got trades, and I've got potential like buyouts.
Okay.
So let's start off. We'll just go chronological order for when we last recorded. Uh,
So,
the Red Sox acquire Sonny Gray and cash, 20 mil to be exact, for left-handed pitcher Brandon Clark and Richard Fitz.
I like it. I'm a fan of this move for the Red Sox, man.
Are you a fan of the move for the Cardinals?
Yeah, for sure. I think
Okay.
the Cardinals are in a position where it's time they part ways with some guys who they thought they were bringing in to contend. And as you see where the Cardinals currently stand, they're not in a contending spot. So I
Yeah.
think the right move is to start looking at maybe a rebuild within and getting rid of guys like Sonny Gray, Nolan Arenado, Brendan Donovan, whose names have come up in trade conversation already this year. And obviously, Sonny Gray was the first to go. So I like this move for the Red Sox for multiple reasons. It adds depth to their already good rotation. And I think, as you see through the AL East so far, these pitching staffs are getting deeper and deeper, and they had to find a way to compete. This is the move they went out and made to do that. So, big fan of this trade for both sides.
Yeah. Another notable starter coming into an already scary division is just gonna make the race to the playoffs that much more exciting. You wonder if he's ever going to get back to his past form with the Twins and even the Reds in Oakland, but most recently the Twins in 2023. You wonder if
I
he'll ever get back to that, but either way, I mean, it's a he's a good starter with some electric stuff.
Yeah, and to me, you don't really see those numbers from Sonny unless you go back to the beginning of his career. There's a few in there, mixed in there, but I think the Red Sox would be more than happy with somewhere between 3.5 to 4 ERA, and they could live with that out of maybe the 3 or 4 spot in their rotation. So great move for them. It sounds like they're still in on some of the other remaining pitching targets out there, so he could even be their 4 or 5 if they make another move here. So good, good move for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I do think in a more contested division and a bigger baseball market that he will have a little bit more reason to perform. So I do think that'll help him out as well. All right, moving on to Anthony Rendon, potential buyout, maybe him retiring. Do we have any comments on that?
You know, being on the other side of the 2019 World Series, he he was incredible that year. I mean, I thought he was gonna just continue to produce wherever he went. And honestly, I thought he was gonna end up, he's a Houston native. I thought he was gonna end up with the Rangers. I thought I'd be seeing a lot more of him, but he ended up going to the Angels, signing this huge contract. And then he was never to be heard of again.
Yeah.
And when he did come back, he didn't play well. He was always hurt. So it's kind of a bummer to see how the trajectory of his career just went downhill as he got to the Angels. But I think for his sake and the Angels' sake, it's great that they're both getting out of this relationship that just hasn't proved to do anything for the Angels. And hopefully Rendon can move on with his life, enjoy his money, and just not have that nagging thought in his mind of, yeah, I never really got on the field for the Angels.
Yeah, you wonder if there's a spot for him somewhere in management or player development. Probably not with the Angels, but with a MLB team. Um, just from kind of the early seasons he had in the middle of his career. I mean, a phenomenal baseball player. We talked about him being an on-base percentage guy. You wonder if a team looks at him to be a some sort of advisor.
Yeah, I would assume that he spends some years away from baseball. I don't know if you remember or not, but it may have been a year or two, maybe even longer. There was the conversation, does Anthony Rendon even really care about
Yeah,
playing baseball at this point? And he made some comments that rubbed people the wrong way, maybe
yeah,
made you think he didn't really care to be around the game. It was just him making a living. So I could totally see him taking a few years off, just kind of staying out of the media, and then potentially, people miss the things that
yeah.
they were a part of for so long, and he could end up in a, like you said, management or even coaching role maybe one day. So,
Yeah, you wonder if that's a good perspective for current players now going through maybe something similar. Him having insight and maybe trying to be appreciative of the opportunity you're given while you're in your athletic prime as a baseball player.
yep.
All right, next one I got, big hitter, Dylan Cease, 7-year, $210 million deal with the Toronto Blue Jays.
I'll let you give your perspectives being a Blue Jays fan.
Yeah, I mean the Blue Jays certainly have a type. Pitcher who recently at least pitchers who can throw over 100 and have a kick change slash splitter. Um, Pretty much the entire starting rotation other than Barrios. Hint, hint, he's probably not going to be a starting pitcher for the Blue Jays this season. They all have splitters. Um, and it turns out it's one of the best pitches in baseball when it's utilized correctly, in conjunction with the fastball and other secondary pitches. But they don't have a starter that can throw 100. So this is new for the Blue Jays, or for this team at least. And you hope he can turn back the clock a little bit to his Cy Young caliber seasons with the White Sox and the Padres. Last year he had a down year, but he's a strikeout machine. I believe he has the most strikeouts since 2020 in the big leagues. So he's got the stuff. He's just got to figure out the command. And yeah, I think it'll be a great deal. The Blue Jays definitely solving the past 2026 season issue. I believe now they have three pitchers that are signed past the 2026 season.
Yeah, I think all the points you hit on were great. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't get back to that form that he was in with the Padres and the White Sox before. I think last year was an outlier. Um, the stress of being a free agent and knowing you have a contract coming up can get to some of these guys. And I'm not saying that's the reason he struggled, but it potentially could be. And now he's secured himself that long-term contract where he probably doesn't have to worry about anything going forward, and he can just pitch. He doesn't have to have that on his mind. Once they hit that 6 years of service time and they become a free agent, they sign that deal. They're taken care of most of the time, and in this case, he was. So I'd expect to see him get back to form and just add. He's an absolute unit coming out of whatever position he does in that rotation. So great pickup by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We'll move on to Ryan Helsley, 2-year deal with 1-year opt-out, and he's going to remain as a closer.
Yeah, I like this move for the Orioles. They have, I don't know what Felix Bautista's timeline is for returning. Maybe he already did at the end of last year.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
I shouldn't say closer, but I should say bullpen arm, like eighth inning, ninth inning guy.
yeah. So having that as a 1-2 punch is going to be like we keep talking about the AL East having a stacked pitching rotation or even the bullpens you're seeing. We got elite arms in this division, and the Orioles wanted to go pick up another one, and I think this was a great pickup.
Yeah, I agree. Again, another guy with a down year. You're not taking a flyer on him. I mean, he's proved he's a premier bullpen arm in the MLB. But you maybe get him at a little bit cheaper price tag than a few years ago. And he's got tremendous upside. So great move by the Orioles. And yeah, pitching was definitely a weak spot for them. So
Am I mistaken? Felix came back at the end of last year.
I'm not sure on that, to be honest. They were kind of
I'm
out
gonna
of
check though.
contention, so I wasn't paying much attention in the back half of the season for the Orioles.
So he made it into 35 games. See, now this is bad baseball knowledge. I don't know if he got hurt in the middle of the season or if he came back towards the end because I know he was hurt at some point. I want to say he came back at the end of the year and got into
He
those
got
35
surgery
games.
in August.
Oh, this August he did?
Yeah, so he missed all of the 2025 season and potentially most or all of the 2026 season.
Gotcha. So he did pitch for a little bit early in 2025, had the surgery in August.
Yeah, torn rotator cuff and torn
Gotcha.
labrum in his throwing shoulder. So
That's a tough one.
yeah,
That sucks. So
especially
yeah, that Helsley's needed. You won't see that 1-2 punch possibly ever if Helsley ends up leaving after that short-term deal. So they that is a much needed arm that they needed to go get. Means even more. So
yeah. All right, another reliever, Devin Williams to the Mets on a 3-year, $50 million plus deal.
I'll let you take a stab at this one. I'm interested what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, what's up with Yankees becoming Mets? Trend that needs to be studied. Um, Again, another guy that had a down year. It seems like all these relievers had down years, and his price tag is certainly not cheap. But I mean, he was a top five closer in baseball at one point, and he certainly wasn't last year. But it'll definitely be interesting to see. Again, another guy. You don't know what Edwin Diaz's future looks like right now. But again, you talked about that eighth inning, ninth inning, 1-2 punch could definitely be lethal with the Mets, and they need some sort of spark after last season.
Yeah, totally agree. I think you heard their owner, Steve Cohen, say, look, they're planning on winning, excuse me, as soon as possible. So it's weird to see them lock up Devin Williams before making Edwin Diaz a priority. I'd like to think they get Edwin Diaz back and, like you mentioned, have that 1-2 punch at the back of the bullpen. But if they're truly going to win now, they have to go get him and they have to go get a starter. So I guess this is a step in the right direction, but not really the name I was expecting them to go after right away. So it'll be interesting to see what the Mets do throughout the rest of the free agency.
Yeah, still waiting on Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz for the Mets, and obviously potentially other players. We talked about Cody Bellinger being a potential fit, and then I know you and Reed liked Tatsuya Imai potentially to the Mets as well.
Yep. And then I've been hearing a lot the last week about Fromber and the Mets. I should have brought it up when we were talking about the Orioles too, but those are the
Yeah,
two names or two teams he's been linked to most recently. So keep an eye out for that too.
yeah, I had Fromber to the Orioles as well. So
So you might end up 2 for 3 here before you know it.
hey, let's go. All right, next one we have pressure is something you fill your tires with. Signs for 1 year, $1.95 million with the Angels.
Next. All you have to
Yeah,
do is announce that. I
I
mean,
I will
I hope he
say,
turns his career around. Like he was
yeah,
great when he was on, but at this point, it doesn't mean much to me. I don't think it really impacts anything the Angels are going to do next year. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I will say it feels like he's younger than 27. He was a rookie with the Blue Jays not that long ago, and 5 years have already passed, which is crazy to think about. It seems like it's been like 2 or 3. So I was like, oh, he's still young. He can turn around. He is 27, and that doesn't mean he can turn around. We'll talk about older players that are making their return to the MLB later. But yeah, he signed with the Braves last season and then was DFA'd and now over the Angels. So
Hopefully, he's got enough pressure in his tires to make it from Atlanta to Los Angeles.
him and Grayson Rodriguez leading the charge now for the Angels.
Yeah,
So, all right. Uh, I got Ryan Weiss, $2.6 million deal and an option for 2027.
we just won the 2026 World Series, boys. Let's go. No, one of those moves. You hope it works out. He's done well pitching outside of the MLB, so I hope it works out. I really would like to see them go get a prominent starter who is a free agent who has pitched in the MLB recently.
And we are talking about the
But
Astros,
yes, sorry if
just
I didn't
to
make that.
clarify that.
Just to clarify, if I ever celebrate, it's because it's the Astros. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like them to go get someone else too. But yeah, I'm open to the idea of this. Let's see what happens. Let's see what he looks like in the spring, and we can go from there. It's not like we have too much riding on him, you know? So
Yeah. I mean, it, to put it into perspective, $600,000 more expensive than the Alek Manoah deal. Seems like a good flyer to take.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
all
Well,
right.
I, like I said, they need more help than Mr. Weiss. So let's go get some help.
And then we have another KBO stud in Cody Ponce.
MVP, MVP.
His was a 3-year, $30 million tag, so obviously pricey.
Yeah. It feels like the Blue Jays, there's a big move, then the Blue Jays make a move. If there's a big move, then the Blue Jays, they're always keeping their name out there and picking somebody up. So they're obviously active this offseason. So it's got to be great to feel or see that as a Blue Jays fan.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they're, opening their wallets. Last year they went out and got Santander, which was a big move for them. And after the run they made last year, it only makes playing in Toronto more attractive, especially with all of the news, I guess, coming out about how close the team was and how fun it was in the clubhouse and player hopefully being able to attract more players. So I think that's a big part of it. But yeah, KBO MVP, he went 17-1 with a 1.89 ERA as a starter in the KBO. So Blue Jays collecting starters like Infinity Stones, it seems.
Yeah, I'd like to think that translates to a decent pitcher in the MLB, but we really won't know until we see him in action.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. The
And
only
go for it.
the only scary thing, I mean, we've seen him in the MLB. Um, right now
Yes, I
he's
believe with the
31 years
Pirates,
old.
right?
Yeah, he posted a 7 ERA. So, but that was 5 years ago. So we talked about Alek Manoah 5 years ago. A lot can change, but
Yeah, maybe they flipped. They're,
yeah, he stole Manoah. It was a like Mike situation, but with Alek Manoah.
yeah, it's like Space Jam. They touch the same baseball, and his powers transferred from Manoa to Cody
Hey,
Ponce.
hopefully he pitches as well as Alek Manoah did in 2021. I'll be okay with that.
And speaking of the Blue Jays, it may or may not be confirmed if Ross Atkins somehow finds a way to get Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette, Jesse will get "I love Ross Atkins" tattooed on his chest. May or may not be confirmed.
May or may not be confirmed, allegedly. All right. And then we had an Anthony K deal, 2 years, $12 million for the White Sox.
I think it's the same conversation we just had with the last two, to be honest. It's interesting to see. Um, I think you're seeing the trend of guys who went over after struggling early in their career, rebounded over in that side of the world, and are now getting their shot to come back and try again. So
Yeah, Blue Jays legend. Um, yeah, I mean it's definitely a common trend in this offseason. So we'll see if it pans out again. Only 2 years, 12 mil. Not totally binding, but the White Sox making moves.
go Sox.
All right, and then kind of the last free agent deal I want to talk about was Miguel Rojas, 1 year, $5.5 million with the Dodgers again. Also announced that he will be assisting in front office and helping with player development after this season. Any comments on that?
I don't think we would be talking about this if he didn't hit the home run he hit in Game 7 of the World Series. But yeah, it's good. It seems like he's a glue guy for them and just is a good guy to have around. So I like it for him and his career on the right track, and then sets him up for life after baseball too. So seems to be a good deal for both sides.
Yeah, I would say an uh underrated player, certainly. Uh Excellent defense and average hitting, and it's everyone loves him, it seems like. So the coach trusts him in big situations, clearly. He was 0 for whatever in the World Series, and coach left him out there, and he absolutely delivered. So, yeah, good for him. And it's always good to hear of players sticking around the organizations afterwards. Means
Yeah.
that people like them and gravitate towards them, and uh, it's good for both team and player.
Yeah, for sure. I did have two more signings that I was hoping we could touch on.
Yeah, let's do it.
So first off, Emilio Pagan re-signing with the Reds. He had a 2.88 ERA. I think that's a great move for them. The Reds are obviously competitive. They're a few bats away, but to keep that arm in the bullpen is big. Relievers who can consistently put out consistent year after year like Pagan does. It's great to see him stay in Cincinnati with that club.
Yeah, well said.
And then last but not least, Cedric Mullins to the Rays.
I was gonna talk about that.
Okay.
That
I'll
was
let
part of my winter meeting news, but
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
no, that's okay. We'll do it now. 1 year, $7 million with Tampa.
Yeah, he's a guy I'd love to see him turn it around. It's fun when Mullins is fun. He's got that electric feel to him when he's playing. He's quick, mans the outfield well. Just needs to get that back going again, and he could be a real get back to all-star form and help the Rays compete in that tough AL East division that we keep talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a weird move. It almost seems like a move where the Ray everyone in the division is making moves and the Rays are like, "Oh, we got to sign somebody." No offense to Cedric Mullins, but that's kind of what it felt like. Um, but yeah, he's still obviously a wanted player after the Mets brought him over at the trade deadline, and now the Rays hope to get back into playing some playoff baseball next year.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with the Rays. They don't go out and sign the big names, and they develop so well from
Yeah,
within
yeah, they do.
that I think there's a way that they feel that they can turn Cedric back into the player he once was and get that kind of performance you saw from him in 2021 and through, I think, 2023 when we did see our prime Cedric Mullins. So hopefully they can get him back on the right track.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. And then I wanted to move into winter meeting news. So I'll start out with the winter meeting schedule. So Sunday the 7th, which is tomorrow, is the Hall of Fame era committee results. On Monday, we have the main conference days for front office discussions. So that's going to be the big day where hopefully some trades progress. And then on Tuesday the 9th, we have the MLB draft lottery. And then on the 10th, on Wednesday, we have the Rule 5 draft. and then just wrapping up the meetings to conclude the winter meetings here in December.
Yeah, this is the time where the hot stove begins, Like we could start seeing names dropping in places. We're gonna see some trades. There's already been some names being thrown around. I don't know if you've been on Twitter this morning, but Bob Nightingale gave us a little premature Zach Gallen multi-year deal to the Cubs. Not true at this point in time. There, I believe, have been conversations about it, but nothing set in stone. But it's looking like the kind of deal Zach Gallen may be getting is around 22 years or 22 million a year. And I think he falls into that same category as Dylan Cease, a guy who had a rough year before, but has a lot of potential to get back on the right track with a new team. So I, you're gonna keep hearing things over the next week, and hopefully, like you said, we get some stuff going.
Yeah. So I read a Passan and Buster Olney ESPN article. They did a good job of telling us like what to look out for. So I'll start with Kyle Schwarber. Jeff Passan says it's going to take a 5-year contract to land Schwarber. And he also says that there's going to be some action after the Schwarber signing. So potentially some dominoes falling into place after that signing is made, which makes sense.
Yeah, is the rumor still that it's trending towards him going back to Cincinnati, hometown?
I think Cincy and Philly were the two biggest remaining teams in discussion.
Gotcha.
So did we already talked about Cedric Mullins? Um, Only said that this could be a warning for the rest of the free agency class with the impending labor strike that players need to kind of get your spot on a team and get your money now. And eventually all the all the spots are going to be gone and teams aren't going to have any money to hand out. So hopefully some signings after the Cedric Mullins signing as well. And they also said that Polanco and Bader could follow suit and sign soon as well. Kind of similar contracts potentially.
Gotcha. Yeah. Another thing I heard this week was look out for a Mackenzie Gore trade over the next couple days.
I did see that.
A lot of teams fighting for his lefty arm from the Nationals, so keep an eye out for that over the weekend and maybe into early next week.
Yep. And then I also have good news for Reed and Minnesota Twins fans. The
Oh
Twins
wow,
have doesn't happen a
that just
lot.
doesn't happen often, so
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
interested to hear.
The Twins have not been pushing Joe Ryan in trade discussions. That was
What about
rumored. Pablo,
Pablo Lopez?
Pablo Lopez. We don't know. I haven't heard about that, but at least fan favorite Joe Ryan has not been marketed to other teams.
Good for Twins fans. One out of every 5 days, they can be happy about watching someone pitch. I guess they still have Pablo too. 2 out of 5.
Yeah. Hey, don't sleep on Simeon Woods Richardson.
Uh, I'm still sleeping. I'm still sleeping.
Uh, and then we have potential Ketel Marte swap for pitching.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Who are the suitors right now?
Dude, I said the Blue Jays, if they can't sign Bo Bichette, I know this, we're talking about Blue Jays signing everybody, it seems like,
Yeah.
but they have 7, 8 potential starters. I mean, one of those plus could be potentially be flipped for Marte.
Barrios plus for Marte? Or does that not get it done?
Yeah, I
Like a
mean,
plus
depending,
plus?
no, I mean, depending on who the plus is, I mean, if it's Barrio plus Davis Schneider, if it's Barrios plus, I don't know. I don't know what it would take. Barrios plus bullpen arm, Fluidity, I don't know, but that'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who comes comes after him, there's a plenty of teams who can use a Ketel Marte. So
Yeah, I mean, every team could use a Ketel Marte. So,
100%.
uh, Edward Cabrera generating interest in trade talks. I mean, this has been going on for seems like years, but certainly last trade deadline.
Yeah, him and Sandy, I think, are going to be a topic of discussion throughout the winter. I don't see why the Marlins are in the business of keeping them around. I don't see a world where the Marlins are right there close to competing. Why not get some value for them and maybe put yourself in a better position for 3, 4 years from now? But we'll see what happens. I would imagine at least one of them gets traded before the end of the winter.
Yeah, you'd have to think. And then I have one more thing on my list, and this is kind of a big one from only. So
Okay, let's hear it.
the Mets will push for Schwarber. They need a glue guy in the locker room after the news came out that last season Lindor maybe not getting along with some teammates, as well as the Soto um, having a slight down year. Imagine trying to have to get through Schwarber and Soto in the same inning. And if the Mets don't get him, it will at least drive the price up for the Reds and the Phillies.
Yeah, I just don't see it, man. I think he's embraced Philly so much that there's no way he could do it. Unless you could also argue, he's at the end of his career. He just wants the nicest paycheck that comes his way. I just don't see it. I think it's Philly, like you said, Philly or Cincy. He's either going home to Ohio or he's going to continue out the rest of his career with a team and city that's fully embraced Kyle Schwarber and the kind of player he is.
Yeah, I agree. But here's what I will say. I think the entire league has embraced Kyle Schwarber. He's one of the most likable players. I don't see any team saying no to him. And if Pete Alonso doesn't re-sign to the Mets, he would be a perfect substitution for the bat.
I
That's my
agree.
argument.
I just don't know if Kyle Schwarber can embrace New York, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. I I understand your train of thought here, but we see this all the time. Players will go to like rival teams and not bat an eye.
In my heart of hearts, Schwarber doesn't feel like that guy.
I
So,
agree. I agree, but I agree. And I think the same thing about like Bo Bichette, for example. Like, could Bo Bichette really become a Yankee?
oh my word, I would be so devastated.
But th it happens. Business is
It does.
business.
Yep, 100%. I trust me, the fans are always like, "Oh, but they're loyal to us."
Yeah,
Man, this
I
is
know.
this is their job. Like they're just
Absolutely.
trying to get paid. I would do the same. I'd be like, if I was a Red Sox player and the Yankees were handing out dough, I'd say, "Peace." You
Absolutely.
know,
But also
like you said, it's a business.
yeah, and at the end of the day, you're trying to compete for a World Series, and he would certainly be doing that with the Mets as well. So,
From that standpoint, do you think the like him going to the Mets, puts them above him going to the Phillies? I just don't see why
not the
not go back to
Phillies, but the Reds.
go. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, hey, the Reds made the playoffs, so
Yeah, they did, but I don't think they were much of a threat,
are
especially
they
to
a
the Dodgers. So,
Are they a Kyle Schwarber away from getting to the NLCS and
I don't
at
know.
least having a shot against the Dodgers? Who knows?
Yeah, that I don't know. It's hard. It's obviously hard to say. You don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that would be very interesting. The Mets need to make a move after all this stuff that's come out this offseason about how their team doesn't get along and Lindor is potentially not happy with teammates and Soto having a slight down year. You would have to think that, they make a splash. But they
It's
kind of did already with David Williams, but
Yeah, it's funny we say, in a slight Soto down year, he took third in the MVP race. It's so funny to me.
I know. But it was.
I agree. It's just funny that like his down year is third in
Yeah. I mean,
MVP.
that's what you get for being one of the best players in the league. You're held to a high standard. So,
Yes, but before we go, I did want to just kind of jaunt over something the MLB Network posted
Okay.
today. They had the biggest moves from 2022 to 2024 during the winter meetings. And I was
Okay.
just going to go through some of those and just kind of what kind of deals we could be seeing in big names coming off the market as early as this week.
Yeah.
So,
And also, I do want to mention that MLB Network does most of the coverage over the news in the winter meeting. So maybe good to follow them on whatever socials or TV this weekend and going into early
yes.
next week.
For sure. So in 2024, we had Soto signing with the New York Mets for 15 years, 765 million. Don't think we're going to see a deal that big this offseason, but
Dude,
this stuff kind of stuff can happen during the,
that Vlad deal looks like a steal.
right? What an instant impact that was.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Also in 2024, Garrett Crochet traded to Boston for four top prospects. Look how well that played out for Boston.
Yeah. Huge.
Also in 24, Max Fried signs with the Yankees for 8 years, 218 million. Also a great move for the Yankees.
I tend to agree, but for some reason, certain playoff teams in the AL East who they happen to play in the playoffs just had his number. So
That is true. Very true. And then in 2023, back to Soto. Soto and Trent Grisham traded to the Yankees for five players. Crazy to think. Soto's
Trent
been on
Grisham.
four teams already in
Yeah,
his
and what
career.
his fourth year of his career? I'm just kidding, but
Yeah, I
it,
mean, I
it's
think
it's what, six?
six or seven.
Yeah.
Seven. I think he's played seven now. Six, seven.
All right.
But back in 2022, Arson Judge signs with the New York Yankees for 9 years, 360 million, and also in 2022, Trey Turner signs with Philadelphia
Trey
for
Turner.
11 years. 11 years, 300 million. So
Yeah.
big names come off the board during the winter meetings.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Love it. Do we have any trivia? If not, I'm gonna find some quick.
No, I'll pull another one. To be fair, I want the ball knowers to know Jesse did not like the trivia last time.
No, I liked it. It was just,
I told you they were bizarre.
dude, they were beyond bizarre.
I told you they're bizarre. Here, you find one and I'll find one. We'll each give each other one.
Sounds good. We'll take a slight break.
Actually, I have mine. I'm ready. While you look yours up, I'll give you mine. Who was the first player to reach 100 career home runs?
What are these questions? I mean,
You
this
gotta,
is what, 1700s? I make myself look like enough of an idiot on this show, and then you ask questions like this. I mean,
it
this
makes
is
you,
this is
I know,
preposterous.
I didn't know the answer either.
Well, obviously, who would? I mean, what year was
G,
it?
GD, he was born around this time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was
This is like,
1890.
fuck, dude. Do I even know a single baseball player who played in 1890?
I'm just gonna tell you, I have another trivia question after this too, but this answer is Harry Stovey. So add
Yeah,
that one to your when you're out at the bar with your boys watching the
fun
game.
fact.
Hit him with the little Harry Stovey.
All right,
All right.
I see you, Harry Stovey.
And then my last one. This one, you definitely know who this guy is. Of the sluggers with more than 600 career home runs, who is the only one to never win an MVP award? Not saying you know the answer, but you know who the guy is for sure.
Who never won an MVP, and he hit 600 homers?
Correct. Only one player out of the group who has hit 600 home runs has never won the MVP, and it is this man.
Semi
Highest he
recently.
ever, yeah, highest he ever took was fourth.
Was it Albert Pujols?
It was not.
Did he win an MVP?
He did.
That was a bad guess then.
It's okay. It's not that big of a list, so
Did
I
they
mean,
retire?
they are retired. They've been retired for maybe 10. No, I bet it's longer, 10 to 12 years. But a name you know. I know you know it.
My mind is going to like the 03, 04 good players. I'm like Ortiz, A-Rod, who have all
So
won
it's funny you
MVPs.
said '03. This player's highest MVP finish was fourth place for the Phillies in 2003.
For the Phillies, Rollins?
No, you want the answer?
Sure.
Jim Thome.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jim
He
Thome never
he
won an
he
MVP.
retired only 12 years ago. I thought it was longer ago.
I'm not totally sure. In fact, let me look it up. It could be longer. I may have put you in a
No,
bad
but
train
I
of
mean,
thought there.
no, it's okay.
2012, so
Sure. Yeah, it's a
13,
little
14
longer
years ago.
ago, but
Yeah, a little longer than
that's
12.
that's
So,
not that's not unfair. That's a good
no.
one. I would never have
Yeah,
thought that.
exactly, man. That's this shout out. I want to get this page right. It is SABR, Society for American Baseball Research, with the trivia I've provided so far
Yeah,
on this
that's
pod.
Saber. We talked about Saber metrics and
Yeah.
the Saber organization. So
Yep. So that's exactly where all this is coming from. So
let's go. You're such a sabermetrician.
I know. Call me Saber Sathy. I'm not going to ask you this question because there's no way I would have gotten it, but what a fun like tidbit. One player only swung the bat once in a major league play, yet retired with 1,000 career batting average as an American leaguer and 1,000 career batting average as a national leaguer.
And you only swung once?
Yep.
He bunt?
First plate appearance, home run on first pitch on June 4th, 2000. Second plate appearance, foul bunt on first pitch, sacrifice bunt on second pitch, June 4th, 2000. So same day. And then in his third plate appearance ever, takes first pitch for a ball, bunt single on second pitch.
I mean, that's
Guys,
awesome.
greatest hitter of all time.
That's awesome. All right. How about,
Some of these are ridiculous.
yeah, I know that's my problem is these are like not fair questions. I should have thought of one beforehand. Just gonna edit all this out. And I gotta try not to go to the same site that you're going to.
Here you go. There's so many good ones.
Let them rip. Maybe I'll get
So
one of
who
them.
Who was the first batter to homer off a pitcher whose Cy Young Award came before the hitter was born?
Oh, so a young hitter hits off of a old pitcher. Is this
Yep.
recent? Can't
It
be.
happened in 2007, but the guy who hit the home run retired in 28, maybe 2019, 2020 era.
And he was really young, and obviously when,
In 2007, he was really young.
oh
Yes.
boy,
But the pitcher, it's a well-known guy,
legend. Like
legend.
what? Like Clemens retired around that time. So I got the pitcher. I just need the
You got the
hitter.
pitcher right.
Because I mean, he was pitching when he was like 44 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was stupid.
There's just zero chance I get the hitter though.
Yeah, I don't think so. So on August 18th, 2007, Cameron Maben, who was
Oh,
born on April 4th, 1987, hit a home run off Clemens, who had won his first Cy Young Award in 1986.
okay. That's a good one.
That's crazy. And before we go, let me give the hot stove a quick glance on Twitter, just in case something's rumbling right now.
I don't think anything has happened yet, other than some false alarms.
Let's see. Yep, not seeing anything right now. So I think we're caught up with the uh, Zach Gallen news. So yeah. Thanks for tuning in to another great episode of the Platoon Baseball Podcast, and we'll catch you next week with GD. Will be on our next episode.
Let's go, GD. He's gonna be going to the World Baseball Classic with us, right?
As of right now, that's the plan. So
Okay.
hopefully that comes into play as we get closer. We can get a better confirmation on that. But he would very
So
much like to.
yeah. So we've got four of us confirmed right now, though, guys, to going. No tickets in
Yeah.
hand, but
We will get
flights,
tickets.
flights to Houston.
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm
That's
I
exciting.
we I will admit we did get a little excited. We thought we were getting rosters on December 3rd, but it turns out those are internal, and we will see some external rosters that are shared with everybody sometime in February.
Yeah. They wait just so players can opt in, opt out, and injuries.
Sure.
And
It, ma-
we don't know what team a lot of these players are going to be on. So
yeah. And
that will have some say on it as well.
it makes sense too. We don't know how these guys are feeling coming out of the off season. Say something's bugging them. It'd be hard for them to commit now and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm going to do this," and then you have to go back and find somebody.
It's
It,
a long
it it
ways
makes
away.
sense that we're not getting it till February. So
Yeah. All right. Next on a GD trivia episode, and then there's probably going to be some storytelling going on.
he's, let's say a not a trivia episode, a storytelling episode with some trivia.
Okay. Glad you had a good Thanksgiving, and
Yeah, you
we'll
too, buddy.
talk to you with GD. Hopefully, we can get Rita on with GD.
Yeah, let's
We'll have the whole
look,
gang on.
that would be the dream team. So,
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Well, I'll talk to you next week then.
peace.